Ladles and jelly spoons. I stand upon this speech to make a platform. Sorry, wrong show. It's Osama. Hello, everyone. Welcome, and we're here to talk about the Quran. As you can see, I am desperate to change the subject and talk about anything else. But we need to learn about the Quran. We need to learn about the world's stupidest book. But it also, sadly, is the world's most dangerous book. And it's a book whose contents, unfortunately, threatens the West. It threatens Usama. It is causing rampant destruction of the Western culture, and of course, it is tied to the violent, shall we say, assault on young girls across the UK, which has been hushed up, and it is causing terrorism. It is causing all sorts of grief, and we have to talk about it. And while we do laugh, we do realize that this is a very serious business. But yes, I am back with the one, the only, Usama Darkwing Duck, the terror that flaps in the night. And we are going to be hopefully taking an accurate but irreverent look at the Quran once again. So welcome, Usama. How are you doing?
Greetings to you and all our wonderful audience in the name of our Lord and our Savior, Jesus Christ. This is the miracle of Islam, man. MashaAllah. Without that book, we have no Islam. And by the way, we know for sure that we do not know where this book came from. We know for sure we do not know where this book came from. But what we know is what is in the contents. We're talking about the story of Joseph, the best of the stories of the Quran. I'm not talking about the best according to some. No, Allah himself, Quran 12:3, assured every Muslim believer that these are the best of the stories, what we're reading. And so far, it's not even a comedy. It's a sorrowful comedy. I know we laugh, but seriously, we should be crying if we are sincere about our love to the Muslim people who believe in the Quran. You have to understand now, once again, 90% of the Muslim people, 90, not 90, and not 990, 90. That is big majority, have never read the book for many reasons. 87% of them cannot speak Arabic, cannot read Arabic. And the rest of the Arab who do not read, they cannot read. And now the one who read, they don't even use logic or common sense. If it is written, it's true. Why? Because
you do know that Adam was the first Muslim.
Sure.
That he spoke Arabic, and that Adam was 90 feet or 30 meters tall. Yeah. Now, when you ask Muslims, can you prove that? They'll say the Quran says it, and that's good enough for me. And unfortunately, I think that your theological belief should be founded on historical fact. Now, I think it is logical to say that, yes, even in Christianity, we do acknowledge theological mystery, like the Trinity.
Yeah.
However, I think we should also recognize historical fact, historical record, archaeology, and such, and separate that from what is mystery, because Jesus lived as a real human.
Sure.
Jesus was a real man.
But you know what's so funny? Yeah, when you're talking about the links of Adam, I just talked about that yesterday, and as I worked in my brand new presentation, Noah. And listen to this. Listen to the concept, the mentality of so-called Muslim scholar Ibn Kathir. They talk about in Noah's day there was a tall man who, by the way, did not drown. He lived from the days of Adam to the days of Moses, or whatever.
The Tall Man, that's a movie that I didn't watch.
Yeah, Akhan ibn Auj or Awaj, whatever his name is. Anyway, he used to be 3,333 cubit. You're talking about almost 5,000 feet. And Ibn Kathir says that's not true. And listen to the logic of Ibn Kathir. Why it's not true? Because Muhammad said Adam was only 90 feet tall, and he is the tallest man, and from the days of Adam until today people are getting shorter. It's not because he would say that is not logic, does not make any sense, it is stupid. No, because Muhammad said Adam was the 60 feet and the 60 cubit, 90 feet tall. See the logic of Muslim scholars? The reason Awaj, whatever this guy named,
where are the skeletons?
What?
Where are the skeletons?
Yeah. But a Photoshop skeleton showing that.
Why did Adam, a 90-foot tall man, build a 30-foot tall Kaaba? He couldn't fit inside.
Well, he go inside by the spirit, not physically, spiritually. Like, ooh, his soul will go inside the Kaaba. You follow me? You're lost. You're not following me.
And according to some traditions, Adam is buried right near the Kaaba. So his skeleton should be there somewhere. In fact, there are between 70 and 300 prophets buried next to the Kaaba. So where are the radar scans of these skeletons, these so supposedly living prophets buried near the Kaaba?
I'm not kidding you. There was somebody being silly. He did some Photoshop of people normal size, you and I, standing or sitting. You can see it online right now. You can go online and search it. You can maybe share the pictures of people next to a skeleton, and the guy head is bigger than the man who is, cleaning the dirt around the skeleton. And
Yes.
when Muslims saw that, they said, Allahu Akbar, evidence that the Quran is true. Evidence is Islam is true. Look how big you people used to be. When in reality, it's a Photoshop. There's no such a thing. No such a thing. Did you see it?
I know this. I know exactly the thing you're speaking about. By the way, this is the tall man. So you were talking about this, right? The tall man from the days of Noah that the Quran speaks about.
How tall was he?
I don't know, but I mean, the Quran is obviously referencing a horror story because the Quran's a horror story. I think that's pretty fair.
Tall man, 3,333 cubit, brother. That's 5,000 feet.
So yeah, if we're going to talk about the tall man, and just by the way, everyone, tomorrow I'm going to be on with the Canadian author Corinne Thompson, and she will be talking about Islam as well. We're going to be doing Islam, not tomorrow, Thursday, sorry, Islam in a nutshell. So that's going to be very interesting. Just letting everyone know. So be there tomorrow. I think this will be a fascinating conversation as well. Just letting everyone know for
Amen.
Thursday.
Amen.
Yeah, and I mean, you know what? By the way, there's this is a paper called The Genealogical Analysis of Islamic Law Books Relied on in the Courts of Pakistan. Recently, it's amazing how Muslims, they've got no arguments anymore because we as Christians, we know the Quran at this point. We know the Hadiths. We know the history of Islam in most cases better than they do. I mean, I think these days the general knowledge of many people just on YouTube, you as the audience, I think in many cases, you probably know the Quran and the Hadiths and the history of Islam better than many imams, right? And this clearly says,
so many of them, it break my heart. I believe it's a very hopeless. They do not know jack about Islam, as my friend Adam Seeker always say, and they think that they are the leaders. They're the spiritual leaders of hundreds, but sometimes even thousands of their followers. It's sad.
Yeah, Curran says, by the way, this is the author that I just showed a moment ago, the prophets were not disturbed because of the respect of the Saudis when they paved over the graves. This is what a Muslim told me. No, it's not that. It's just that they couldn't scream through the concrete that they poured over them.
Muhammad himself is alive right now inside his tomb. Muhammad is alive because when he says, Assalamu alaikum, he greets you back. All the time. Imagine he's sitting in his tomb right now. Assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam, alaikum salam, alaikum salam, alaikum salam. He have to be speaking so fast. God help us. Anyway, go ahead, bro.
Right. I mean, I wonder who the authors of the Quran were. Can Muslims tell us? Because Muhammad had something like 60 scribes? Which one wrote which chapter? Do we know? Because apparently those are anonymous books. Because the book is anonymous, it's not valid.
Yeah, you're talking about less than 3/4 of a verse a day. That book was written in 22 years or 23 years, 6,000 verses in
so
20
why did he need 60 scribes?
So Muslim make it look like he has a secretary is working for him. If you do a ministry by yourself, you don't have a secretary, you don't look like a serious ministry. If you do business by yourself, you don't have a bookkeeping. That guy's joking.
So he had 60 scribes doing less than 1/4 of a verse a day.
No, less than 3/4 of a verse. So because if you divide the 6,000 by 6,000 by
the time.
Brother, listen. The calculator is made by the infidels, and it worked fantastic. 6,000 verses, all right? We're going to divide it by 2 years divided by 365 days. Literally, he does 74. Yeah,
0.74
three
verses
quarter
a
of a
day.
verse. I was right. 3/4 of a verse a day. And by the way, some of the verses of the Quran is just a letter. The letter Noon, the letter Qaf, or Alif Lam Mim ALM. I mean, that's not so hard. In one day, he maybe work hard and write a
But
whole verse.
but
Another day,
we
he's right.
know, people say that these letters, Alif, Lam, and all that, these are secrets. But I have uncovered the secret of at least one of those words. The word meme. I know what a meme is.
What is meme? Please tell me.
A
I'm suspicious.
meme. We make. I can show you memes from Google. We can just Google some memes. Alif, Lam, and memes. Let me look for a meme. This is a meme. I'll show you a meme. This
What,
is
a
a
cat?
common meme.
A dog? A knife?
This is a common meme. That's a random meme on the internet. So
An
these are,
eagle?
So the Quran predicted memes by thousands of years. At least I think. But anyway, back to a serious note. I just want to mention, I had an argument with a Muslim, obviously pretending to be a Jew, but he was insisting that the Islamic law books that I was posting were not Islamic law books and had nothing to do with Islamic law. And then I posted that these are two PhD scholars of Islamic law from Pakistan, from the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Both of these guys teach law. And they did an analysis of Islamic law books relied on in the courts of Pakistan. And they identified these books, right? These books are found to be relied upon frequently by the courts to derive what is an authentic point of Islamic law. So I posted this, and I was using these two books. And of course, this genius was like, no, this is not valid because not every word in those books is actually Islamic law. Now, I'm sure some of the words are things like the date, the address of the printer, I'm certain. But it's at the point now where Muslims, they have no arguments. They will lie. They must lie. That's all they can do. And or they will use the most vile insults. Obviously, they're out of arguments now. There's no good faith dialogue, and this is very sad. But unfortunately, this is the fruit of Islam. This is where we're at. And at this point, this is infecting the West, and we do need to deal with this. It is beyond time that this is dealt with and cast out of our communities. I don't think it's acceptable.
Nope. The longer we wait, the danger is going to be. We cannot wait.
Yep. No, we can no longer wait. Yeah, no, we need to. So, Usama, we finished here with Joseph's brother's third trip to Egypt, I believe. And I'm pretty sure the Quran is saying they're still traveling to Egypt today. Wallah. And they're using Magic Carpet Airlines. So what are we doing from here, Joseph? Because we want to try and finish the story of Joseph.
I'm hoping and praying.
Yep. So the third trip to Egypt never took place in the Bible. Now that's fascinating. And we know it is just another error in the Quran. We see in Quran 12:87, Jacob says, "My sons, go and inquire of Joseph and his brother, and do not give up hope."
Whoa. He knows that Joseph is still alive in Egypt?
Yes.
Absolutely, because the Bible is corrupted, man. And now I understand. Yep, now you know. Yep, go ahead.
Surely no one will give up hope from the Spirit of Allah except the infidel people. Are you calling this man a drunk? Because the author here is saying sounds like a drunken person who's confused.
Yeah, he must be drinking more than Noah. Noah drank and got naked in his tent. That guy has lost his mind. Go ahead.
Right. So yeah. I mean, this story is not exactly, shall we say, good literature. So
No.
When I read the story of the Quran or the interpretation of Muslim scholars, I feel like I'm reading a drunk's writings. Perhaps Muhammad's angel Jibreel, or gibberish, was drunk when he made up the story. Or perhaps it is because the so-called scholars were so blinded or deceived that they completely agreed with him. That must be why Muhammad stated in verse 87 that Jacob and his sons go back to Egypt to search for Joseph. Jacob said to not give up, for after the hardship, an easy time would be coming. But didn't they meet him and then they came back loaded with goods?
Yeah.
So why would they have to go back to find him? They know exactly where he is.
But they did not know him. Jacob know him, but they did not know him. Even though he was speaking to them in the Quran, in the Arabic language, the language of Islam, and he was talking to them directly. I mean, like you and I talking right now.
So you saying the Egyptians spoke Arabic?
No, Joseph in the Quran, because he's prophet.
Spoke Arabic.
It's the whole thing is a joke. Biblically, Joseph never spoke to his brother directly. Biblically, he was speaking in the Coptic language, and he have translators to translate for him to the brothers. And the brother were talking. He did not know that they did not know that it is Joseph, and he understand everything they're saying. But he has the interpreter between them, back and forth and back and forth. And he was a harsh guy. And he was like what he is, a prince, the second man in Egypt. According to the Quran, he's sitting on the front of the entry of the city. He have his own cup. He drink with. And he measured for the people with. He was working so hard all day long, man. Joseph was a big salesman selling corn to all the people of the world, and we using his own cup. The cup he drink with, it's the same cup he measured with. MashaAllah. It's like logic. You see the logic of scholars of Islam?
No. Yeah. So in Genesis 42, Jacob sent his 10 sons to Egypt to buy grain because the famine had begun. Joseph knew them, but they did not know him. Joseph accused them of being spies. He then starts a conversation with them so he might discover the well-being of his father and younger brother. He held their brother Simeon as a prisoner until they proved they were not spies by returning with their brother Benjamin. Jacob heard this news when they returned to their own land, and he was very upset. The hunger was severe, and in Genesis 43, Jacob asked his sons to go back to Egypt. After a long struggle, Jacob allowed them to take Benjamin and return, which was their second trip. Genesis 44. They took their purchased grain in the early morning when they left Joseph's house. They were stopped not far away by Joseph's steward, and he accused them of being thieves, and they were brought back. While staying in Joseph's house, repentance took place in the brothers' hearts, for they knew God was punishing them for what they'd done to their brother Joseph. In Genesis 45, Joseph breaks down before his brothers and told them that he was Joseph, their brother. He cried over them, kissed them, and explained to his brothers the famine would continue for 5 more years, and he asked them to bring their father and all their possessions and come back to Egypt. It was Simeon who was held as hostage, not Reuben. And this took place during the first trip, but Benjamin was not with them until the second trip. Obviously, Muhammad heard the story from some Jew or Christian because he barely knew any of the details. So, the rest of the story from Quran 12:88. So when they entered into him, they said, "Oh, you dear, distress has touched us and our family, and we brought deficient merchandise. So fulfill us to the measure and be charitable to us. Surely Allah will reward the charitable." Okay. Ibn Kathir stated the condition of the sons of Jacob was not good because of their hardship, and they had so many children they did not have enough money, or that their money was bad money. Okay. And it was said that it was just some nuts. Maybe it was avocado.
The problem with Ibn Kathir and so-called Muslim, they don't understand that Jacob was a rich man. His family are rich. I mean, think about it. Abraham had 318 slave men who went and fought for him the battle to bring his nephew Lot and his family and everybody else after the war between the kings and the 5 kings and the 3 kings. We know the story in Genesis. Now, when Isaac became the man to take over his father, he took all these slaves. And then Isaac gave everything to his son Jacob, not Esau, but Jacob. Of course, Muhammad and his scholar do not know anything about Esau. So Jacob was not a poor man. As a proof is when you go to the Bible, when they went back to Egypt, they got the silver they took on the first trip and another silver to buy more food. And obviously, they took gifts, the nuts and the different spice, whatever they took with them. It's a gift for the man who's in charge of Egypt, who he did not know anything. And Jacob said, "Take a gift with you." Honey, whatever they took with them to give. So the problem is not financially. The problem is there's no rain. There's no rain. There's no seed. There's no seed. There's hunger. It's not they're hungry because they're poor. They don't have silver. No, they got plenty of silver. They are starving because of no rain. I don't think Muhammad and scholars of Islam have a clue what I just said to you, brother.
No, I think not. But Ibn Kathir even says that Ibn Abbas said that the money that they had was some ropes.
Yeah.
They had rope money.
No. Ropes is like, ropes you tie a camel with, you tie a dog with, a donkey with. That's what it is. Rope, hibal, which means they have nothing. I mean, literally, they have not. They're so poor, broken, so poor. What happened to all the silver which he put in their bags as he left in the first trip? What happened? Did he give it away? Did he throw it away?
That didn't make it into the final cut of the movie, unfortunately. So
I
there's a
apologize. I know.
yeah. This is yeah. So obviously they're giving the impression of great poverty, but these people were not poor. They were just in need of grain. They had money. They just needed food.
Yeah.
According to Genesis 43, they took with them the best fruit of the land as a gift: some balm, some honey, some spices, some myrrh, some nuts, and almonds. And then they took with them double the amount of silver required to pay for the old grain in case it was an oversight, and the more silver to buy new grain. So they continued. Muhammad continues in the Quran stating that they asked Joseph to fulfill the measure and to be charitable.
Yeah.
In his
He's
interpretation,
sitting there. Remember Joseph sit in front of the gate, his house at the entry of Egypt, and everybody come in. He just, roll his sleeves and get ahead, measures it. Yep, measure with his cup. Go ahead.
yeah, so in his interpretation, Ibn Kathir continued by saying that because Joseph saw their condition, how poor and starving they were, just like Gazans, because of the aid that wasn't being delivered. Joseph saw their condition and knew they had no money, and he told them who he was and he showed compassion. Then Joseph said to them, "Do you know what you have done to Joseph and his brother when you were ignorant?" Ibn Kathir said that they were so surprised, although they had met with him many times before, but did not recognize them.
Yeah.
They said, "Are you surely Joseph?" And he said, "I am Joseph, and this is my brother. Indeed, Allah has been gracious to us. Surely who fears and is patient? So surely Allah will not lose the wage of the doers of the good." Tell me, how popular was Allah back in the Egyptian era back then?
Allah never exists in Egypt. When you read the Bible, Joseph swear by Pharaoh's life, because he talked like an Egyptian in the Coptic language. He didn't say by Allah. It's amazing when you read the swearing by Allah. Even the idol worshiper in Saudi Arabia in Muhammad days, they all swear by Allah. When you read the made-up stories by Muhammad in the Quran, which we're going to get some of them, they all swear by Allah, as if Allah is just a famous God like other gods, and everybody like Allah.
So how are they claiming? I mean, I just cannot believe how, given the anachronisms, given the clear historical errors in the Quran, that academics haven't come out and just declared this thing a complete fabrication. I mean, there's no way they can prove that Allah was God in Egypt.
Lloyd, you and I have been talking about the Quran so far. We're in chapter 12, Joseph, okay? In our two volume books, these 2 volume books here, okay? But how many? I saw it. By the time I'll be finishing that 2 books here, there'll be 10 people write the same books. So far, I have not seen one person write these books. Nobody talk about. We have hundreds of people, literally hundreds all over the world, who are speaking against Islam about everything, but not the Quran. You can destroy Islam without one bullet. You can bring Muslim out of Islam without any war. Just simply expose what is written in the Quran for them. They will leave Islam. I mean, literally, what is so hard for every person who does ministry to pick up a book from the Quran and do like what you and I are doing?
Yeah, but how can an academic who's a Muslim defend this and go, well, theologically I believe it, but academically there's literally zero support for this. This is obviously false. You're like,
believe me, brother, there are plenty of Muslims will do that. Plenty of Muslims will take the step if we sincerely go to them with the evidence. Let's get some evidence out for them. There are plenty of educated. Now, the uneducated Muslims, they believe in the Quran without reading it, as I said earlier. They have no idea what's in it, but they believe it. And the more they know about what's in it, they leave it. 2 reasons, Lloyd. I said that before, and I said it again. The 2 top reasons why Muslims leave Islam: because they got to know the Quran, or they got to know Muhammad, the self-proclaimed prophet of Islam. Without knowing the Quran and Muhammad, Muslims are always going to be Muslims. End the story.
Yeah. No, I mean, wow. But it's such an obviously false story. It's such an obviously ahistorical, fabricated narrative. Clearly, there's so much that they absolutely cannot prove. They make these assertions that there is zero academic evidence. And why are academics not making this clear?
We need more people to speak up against it. We need more people to educate the world about it.
I mean, academics must know this is complete fabricated garbage, but these people are cowards.
Well, that's another thing. Those who knows what's in it and they don't want to talk about it because they don't want to offend the Muslims or because they don't want to get themselves hurt. Brother, if I have 1 minute of fear, I would not have done this for 24 years now. I'm actually 25 years doing that.
Yeah. I mean, we all know that Islam has become a problem. I think one of the main concerns, the people that recently, Usama, I was chatting with someone contacted me and spoke to me. I won't mention who they are, but someone in Europe these are highly placed individuals, educated, senior positions in industry, and they're concerned of civil war breaking out in Europe, of violent.
Eventually it will, and the Muslim going to win it.
And
it will happen, and the Muslim will win it because there are millions of Muslims who cannot wait for jihad to start in Europe. So instead of they're going to be living like they're living right now on warfare, they're going to be killing the British and the French and the Italian and the Swedish.
We're going to see what happened in Lebanon happen. However, here's one difference though. Lebanon's a small country. They were overwhelmed with a very large number of Muslims and surrounded by Muslims. I think the difference is that, granted, they are importing lots of these Muslims, but that said, you have a very large indigenous population that is the majority in Europe and in the UK. Yeah. And just given the sheer force of numbers, if they push that button and things do erupt, at some point, now they might have the initiative, they might have the advantage, but at some point, the numbers are not on their side. And I think the way that I see it when speaking with others, the fighting spirit of Europeans is being awakened. And I think they're awakening the sleeping giant. And this, I think, is something that they have forgotten to calculate, in that they think that they're dealing with people who are defeated morally and emotionally and culturally. But this I believe is wrong. But I had someone contact me to ask about how do we defend our community? How do we design the necessary surveillance systems and response systems and early warning and communication systems that we can protect our community? And I was talking with him and helping him look at ideas and designs for how to defend, because I used to do this for military bases and for critical infrastructure. And so now, I mean, there seems to be some interest with doing this for simple communities, for community defense. And I mean, people are genuinely concerned. Everyone can feel it in their bones. Violence is coming. Unfortunately, everyone feels it now. And
it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse.
I mean, I think we're waiting for the spark. You're waiting for the next Southport. You're waiting for the next, I don't know, bomb going off at a concert. And if this happens, there could well be repercussions that people did not expect.
Exactly.
And I mean, we don't want that to go there, but the political process is not producing the results people need. The legal process is actually working against them. So what choice is left?
Only God knows.
I mean, I think for HM Fox is whose side is the state on? Well, I mean, it's clear that the state is not on the side of its indigenous native people. Right?
I think there's some conservative people who are willing to speak out loud, but the rest are just say, hey, if we just ignore the problem will go away. You cannot ignore Islam. It's not going to go away. It's going to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah. I mean, we cannot, I mean, we have to reject this. And this story is clearly fabricated. The story is clearly unsupported.
And by the way, Lloyd, not just the story of Joseph. The entire Quran is the same way.
Yeah.
I am willing to talk with Muslim and I jump from one story to another throughout the pages of the Quran and they all be the same. There are no differences. As a matter of fact, in my personal opinion, Joseph is the best of the stories of the Quran. At least you got some information, you got some material to think about, to talk about. Other stories, empty words. There's nothing there. There's nothing.
No, I mean, it's unsupported academically. It's unsupported historically. Whatever claims they make, there's literally no academic support for this that can prove any of this.
Sure.
So let's continue. Quran 91. in verses 91 to 92, they said, "We swear by Allah indeed." Of course, Allah swears by the stars, right?
Yeah, and by the dirt, and by the mountain, and by the tree, and by the fig, and by the, I mean, name it. There's nothing Allah does not swear. Allah swear by the Quran, the book we're reading right now. I don't know how can you swear by that book. Are you out of your mind? You don't even have logic. You can swear by Shakespeare writings or Voltaire writing, but not Muhammad's writing. Are you kidding me? Maybe Allah never read the Quran.
You appeal to something greater than yourself. So if you're appealing to the stars, that means the stars are greater than you.
And by the way, in the Bible, God swear by himself because he is the greatest. You don't swear by dirt, bugs. Yeah.
I mean, the dirt where I come from is pretty good. I can, I pretty good dirt.
No, I can swear by the dirt, but will God swear by dirt?
I mean,
what is the logic, brother?
If you consider, here's dirt, here's Allah, I can see why. When you're lower than dirt, yeah, maybe. So Allah exalted you above us, and that we were surely sinners. And he said, no sin will be on you today. Allah will forgive you, and he is the most merciful of the merciful. Ibn Kathir said that the brothers said to Joseph that Allah had favored him above them and had given Joseph what he did not give them, because they'd sinned against Joseph. Therefore, they were now at his mercy. In response, Joseph said he would not punish them for what they had done. Then he added to that by saying, Allah is forgiving, most merciful.
Just to say throughout the Quran, Allah is forgiven, and you acknowledge that he will forgive sin, but you don't bring the justice of God for the forgiveness of sin, that does not make any sense. Does not make any sense. You cannot tell me that there is a just judge who will forgive people for their crime or for their sin without punishment. What is the justice of God? You're taking one of the attributes of God, forgiveness. That's wonderful. Loving. That's great. But you're ignoring the other attributes of God, the just. Forgiveness in the Bible is not just a word God said. There is always punishment. That's why there is always sacrifices in the Bible in the Old Testament. And it was just
there has to be atonement. If not punishment, there has to be atonement, I believe.
Yeah, atonement. But the wages of sin is death. And without shedding of blood, there is no forgiveness for sin. These are simple facts, simple rules to understand the nature of God, the just, loving God. That's why Jesus went to the cross, to pay the penalty of our sins.
Right.
But you take, Allah is forgiven. When Allah but Muhammad, sometimes in the Quran, he will say, he will forgive some of your sins. يَغْفِرْ مِنْ خَطِيَتْكُمْ. Yes, some? What about the other ones? Okay, I commit two crimes. One is I hit somebody with a car. The second one is I shot somebody with a bullet. I'm going to forgive you for one of the two. What is the punishment? Oh, I'm going to die anyway. So why you forgive me for one? If I'm going to take the rope and around my neck? You cannot tell me that God forgives some sins and others, and you cannot tell me that God forgives sins without there is a punishment, atonement.
We've never accused Allah of making sense. And look at this blasphemy from Dude for Christ. Allah will swear by his shoelaces if you had a pair. I mean, this is blasphemy because everyone knows Allah has no feet. Allah only has a shin.
Well, he have a shin, but I don't think the shin is hanging on the air. There must be a feet under the shin, man.
Allah is like nothing you've ever seen before. You know what the invisible man looks like? The invisible man looks like nothing you've ever seen before. Right? In fact, I met the mother and father of the invisible man that they called his transparents.
Well, I agree with you. Allah, there is none like Allah. I mean, think about it. Have you ever seen a man who was born with two right hands? That's new.
He has two right hands and he has a little vagina clinging to his leg.
Oh my word, that's Satan, man. That's Satan.
Now he's got a leg as well, but okay. So yeah, I know this. Yeah. So now Muhammad adds a fictional magic shirt to the story of Joseph, beginning in Quran 12:93. Go with this, my shirt. Throw it on my father's face, and he will recover his sight and bring me all your family. In this interpretation, Al-Qurtubi said that the shirt was made out of silk. from the garden which Allah had put on Abraham when he was put into the fire. Where does he get this information? I have a headache, Usama. I'm going to have to go lie down for a while.
Listen. We maybe did not talk about that, but there was another story about Abraham when he breaks the idols. They actually meant Gideon, but Muhammad confused him with Abraham. And then they decided to throw him into the fire. And oh boys, they collected wood for a year or so. Why? Because some women said, "Oh Allah, if you listen to this, women do not believe in Allah. Oh Allah, if you bless me and I get pregnant and have a boy, I will carry wood to bury that wicked Abraham." And they got pregnant and they had baby boys. So at least 9 months or 10 months. And now they carry the wood. Now, when Abraham was thrown into the fire, Allah covered him with the shirt which came from the garden, which was Adam's shirt, so the fire will not hurt him, would not harm him. That is a magic shirt. Abraham gave to Isaac, Isaac gave to Jacob, Jacob gave to Joseph, and Joseph had the shirt. Now they're gonna go back to their father became blind. How in the world did Joseph found out that Jacob was blind? I mean, how did he know that he was blind? Oh, maybe he told him. But when we read in the Bible, he was not blind. He still can see. His eye get dull later in life after he lived in Egypt for another 10, 13 years, whatever, 17 years. So, but it's just all wrong. Mistake after mistake after mistake, and error after error after error, like the book of error. Yeah, oh yeah, the revelation of error, the Quran.
Yes, I agree. This is frustrating. It is frustrating.
You have to smile, brother. Smile and keep reading. And keep reading.
It's painful.
You only have a headache 2 hours a week, man. You don't complain about it, please.
So, angel gibberish informed Joseph that this shirt was from the garden and had the breeze of the garden. And if this shirt had touched anyone who was sick or had any physical problems, he would be healed. Al-Hassan said that if Allah had not told Abraham the secret of the shirt, Joseph would not have known that his father's sight would return. Al-Hassan also said that the person who carried the shirt was Judah, because Judah told Joseph, who told Ephraim, who told John, who told Malcolm, who told Luke, who told Sally, who told Jimmy, who told Jiminy Cricket.
All the wonderful names.
I'm pretty sure because I mean, look, I'm just adding to the story.
What's amazing here, the Quran never mentioned any detail about who carries the shirt. Now, Muslim scholars go in depth to drive you nuts about who carries the shirt. How did they know? Was Ibn Kathir there? And literally, he came 600 years after Muhammad to take up some names of people who came 2,000 years, or 3,000 years after Joseph, and they talk like if they were there. They give you more details than Allah can handle. Not you and I. Forget about you and I. We cannot, but they give you more information than Allah himself can handle, because that's why Allah never wrote it in the Quran to start with.
I'm a co-readers. Yeah, he's gonna call me a cow reads. Yeah, the stupid Muhammad Afridi. Good grief. I mean, you know what? I think people are just getting Islam fatigue. I've got Islam fatigue. Not in the sense that I don't want to shoot it in the on YouTube, but the simple fact is that we're just sick and tired of Islam, and we're sick and tired of the behavior of Muslims. I mean, people are getting tired of immigrants. There's immigrant fatigue. People are tired of this. People want law and order. They want rationality, and they want the culture they're familiar with, not this foreign invasive culture that just undermines and destroys.
And by the way, Lloyd, until now, Europe never seen yet the true nature of the culture of Islam. The true nature of the culture of Islam, that I will be killing the non-Muslim men, and I will be raping their wives and their daughters, because that's a privilege given to me by Allah. And you have nothing to do to stop me from doing it. So when Muslims start practicing real Islam in Europe, it will be, you're talking about civil war. Civil war is nothing.
You know what? I really was. What was an eye opener for me was the Lebanon, to see the damage done to the Lebanon, the destruction and the dysfunction. The Bekaa Valley was incredible. The Bekaa Valley was just amazing. I mean, I met so many nice Muslims. I mean, they are fantastic Muslims, granted. right? But of course, if they follow Islam strictly, then I mean that becomes threatening. But I've met
And,
so many
and,
amazing Muslims. It's genuinely
and
nice. Yeah,
yeah, I have to correct you, Brother Lloyd. The reasons they're wonderful people is have nothing to do with Islam.
because they
When
are
you say,
ignoring
when you
Islamic
say,
rules.
when you say wonderful Muslims, they think they're Muslims, but they're not.
That is true. No, that is granted. I mean, that true, sure. It's just that, I mean, they can be good people when they don't follow these rules, when they don't
Yeah.
follow this toxic culture. But you look at the dysfunction and you realize that they're also not the ones that make the rules. They're not the one that pull the strings. You know, the people pulling the strings are the worst examples of humankind, and they are not our friends. They don't like us. They hate us. And unfortunately, these are issues of concern. I mean, Islam teaches hatred of the kafir, and this is what we are. So yeah, I mean, I think people are waking up to this, and people are very concerned about it. I mean, the UK, how many more shall we say people who commit crimes against young girls do we need in the country? You know, what kind of
Well, right
doctors and
now
lawyers
we're
are
in
bringing in?
the hundreds of thousands. I don't know when they're gonna wake up. I don't think. Let me put it this way, and I hate to say it that way because they make me look rude and cruel. I don't think the British men care about the honor of their daughters. I don't think so. I'm sorry. We move in. See, the culture changed where a girl should be home until she get married. Now the girl is 13, 14 years old and she have a boyfriend who's sleeping with her. Now, what difference does it make if a boyfriend sleeps with her or another Muslim guy sleeping with her? We lost the pride of being a virgin. We lost the dignity of being ready for the wedding night. The father is sleeping with the mother of the children who is not married to her, and the kids do not know who is the father who got their mama pregnant. So you have a lost community. We have we have a lost family tradition of a husband and wife and children. So sometimes you see the father raping their own daughters, or the grandfather raping their own daughters. What else do you want? Broken community. That it is much worse than it used to be in days of Sodom and Gomorrah. It's getting bad. It's getting real bad. So Muslims go to that community, that culture where there is no husband and wife. There is no who's sleeping with who. So why not just go ahead? Practice what Allah gave us the right tools. That's why they're raping little girls. And soon they'll be raping every woman, young and old.
Yeah. Yeah, no, something. This is interesting. I just saw this now. The Muslim cowboy. The Bible is not mentioned once in the Quran. Prove me wrong. Now, I'm not sure if he thinks he's making a great point here, and Paul Williams, of course, says correct. But then that means that the Quran doesn't know the Bible. I'm not sure if he knows he's making a point.
I'm sorry, that statement is not true.
I know, but hold on. I just want to mention this. This is the same Muslim cowboy that says here, a woman is a woman when they hit puberty. Making a certain age and number is arbitrary and makes no sense. This is the same guy who said this. I think this makes him a PDF file.
Yeah. Well, he cannot say that Muhammad did anything wrong to be involved with Aisha.
Puberty is not something you hit. Puberty is a process that takes years to complete. Puberty is a process, not an
But
event.
these people do not have logic, man. These people do not have common sense.
So this is the same guy who says here that you can see he's getting a little friendly with the little kitty here.
Bring me the first one, brother. Bring me the first one if you don't mind. The one, yep, this one here. The Bible is not mentioned once in the Quran. He maybe never read the Quran because the Bible is all over the Quran. As a matter of fact, Allah in the Quran brag about the Bible. And let me give you a good example. We did not send any men before you except we inspired. Allah said in the Quran. That means all the men who wrote all the books which mentioned in the Bible are inspired. And if you are in doubt concerning what we revealed to you, Quran 1093 or 94, I believe, if you were in doubt concerning what we have revealed to you in the Quran, so ask the people who are reading the book. What is the book? The Bible. Every time you go in the Quran, see, read the book, it's the Bible. The people of the book, Ahlul Kitab, is the Christian and the Jews.
Yeah, he says the book that came before you. They speak of the Torah, the Zabur, and the Injil. I mean, I'd love to see a copy of the Injil. Can they mention where we can find it, or fragments of it, or records of it? I mean, that certainly doesn't exist. No Muslim can show you. But I mean, this is retarded. I mean, the Bible is not mentioned once.
The man does not know that Paul Williams.
Unless you're talking about, look, the word Bible is technically a Christian word, referring largely to the New Testament, shall we say? Because obviously the you have the Torah, which is the 5 books of Moses. Then you have, the Pentateuch. Then you've got the rest of the Old Testament, as we call it, but of course that is given a different name by the Jews. And then the Bible technically is a Christian term for the Christian Bible, but I think we all know what we're referring to. So the Bible, the Quran speaks about the Bible constantly.
Yeah, the Quran chapter 5, verse 46 to 48 is 45 to 48 is a great evidence that yes, there is the books of the Old Testament and the books of the New Testament, and the Quran came to literally to confirm that which is written in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. So that idiot here does not know jack about his own Quran or Islam, period. But anyway, let's go back to Joseph.
Right. So let me see. So then we have the magic shirt. Another amazing thing was the smell of Joseph.
Yeah.
It is written in the Quran 1294. And when the caravan departed, their father said, I surely found the smell of Joseph.
Woo, sweet that baby. Must sweet smell, man. MashaAllah.
What smell of? Okay, yeah.
The wind carries the smell of Joseph from the shirt, which was carried by Judas. Yes. I know it. I believe it. It's true.
So hold on, we're talking about a mutant here with the nose of a bloodhound?
No, you see, some dogs can smell the bond or the stuff from like long distance. Now Jacob has extra gift. It's like the gift of smelling, and he can smell.
It was Old Spice. Yes. Dude for Christ is right. It was Old Spice.
It's a very unique smell. It's come from the Garden of Heaven. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you can do it too, says this is an admission that they can't find Muhammad in the Bible. I just love them to show me a copy of the Injil. Show me a fragment of the Injil, a quarter of a page. Show me any scrap that is of this Injil that Jesus received.
Yeah, but the problem is Muhammad praised that Injil in his Quran 600 years after Christ, and we do have thousands of manuscripts.
Where is this Injil? I mean, if there was such an Injil, there's got to be someone wrote about it, someone quoted from it, someone mentioned that it exists in their historical writings. We'd have a record of it.
Lloyd, so you're trying to speak with logic. What are you? Are you sick of your mind? There's no logic in Islam. Period.
Yeah, I mean, give me the first line from the Injil. Give me anything from the Injil. Show me anything. Give me one page from it. There must be a fragment from it. And Jesus received it. Jesus got given it.
It disappeared.
Just like the original Torah and the original Gospels and the original Injil, all of it disappeared.
But at the same time, the people of the book were reading it in Muhammad days, but somehow it disappeared. It's chaos, brother. It's chaos. I'm sorry, I can't help it.
No, he was a pervert sniffing people. That definitely didn't look good there. When you have a guy with a big bushy beard sniffing little girls, you have a Joe Biden situation.
Oh, I was gonna say, does Joe Biden learn that from Prophet Muhammad or Prophet Jacob?
He got it from the Muslim cowboy. Yeah.
I don't know that Biden is converting to Islam.
So Ibn Kathir said that Ibn Abbas stated that when the caravan traveled to Jacob, a windstorm with the smell of his shirt.
Hey, the wind, man! I told you the wind. You did not believe me.
My headache. Took 8 days to travel and carry the smell of Joseph to Jacob.
Sure. The wind can go for a long time, and he has the special nose, like the wolf nose or the special donkey's nose. See, the problem with you, Lloyd, is you're just Islamophobe, man. If you say the Shahada, convert Islam, all this will make sense to you.
I will only say the Shah na na. Good night, sweetheart. Yeah, it's time to go home. Okay, does everyone know the Shah na na? Hold on, hang on. I'm gonna just show this.
I think you made it up. There's no Shah na na. I looked for it everywhere online. I could not find it. You made it up.
I am. You know what?
Show me Shah na na, and I will sing it with you. Shah na na na.
Shah na na.
Na na. Hey.
So I'm gonna have to kill the audio here. Come on, I mean this is real. This is real.
I cannot
hear
it.
I look like this guy? I think I look like this guy.
I know, but I cannot hear it. What is the sound?
I'm not playing the sound. I don't want to get a copyright strike. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
I mean, I think I've got this.
You look weird, man. Yeah, this guy was underwear. He doesn't have a shirt. He's so fat and so smelly. I can smell him from here. Worse than the smell of the shirt of Joseph. Peace be
So
upon him.
yeah, I'm happy to say the Shah na na, but I don't know, that's I will moving on. So yeah.
Okay. Can you send me the link and I can watch it on my own?
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right,
look,
thank
also I've got a mission I have to run, so I have to finish in about it's now about at 8:25 latest. I have to finish here. Okay, so in his book, Ibn Kathir said that Ibn Abbas said that when the caravan traveled to Jacob, a windstorm with the smell of his shirt, his silk shirt, took 8 days to travel and carried the smell of Joseph to Jacob. 8 days later, Ibn Kathir stated that Al-Hasan said that it had been 80 years since Joseph saw Jacob. 80 years.
Where did they come up with these numbers? I think when he left Egypt, he was like 3 or 4 years. Now he is in his 30s, so it's more than 18, man. According to the Quran, not according to me, according to the Quran. But that's okay.
Ave Maria Theotokos makes a good point. Al-Kitab just means the people of the book. It doesn't specify which book. But of course, they all claim it's the people of the Bible. So, yeah, how are they so confident in vague references because look, the story is changing in real time in front of our eyes. I believe that they've made up. Ask yourself, Usama, how many times have we seen them change their polemics, these Muslims? For instance, remember they used to say when I got into this, the one thing Muslims are always saying is, have you consulted a scholar? Now we know more than their scholars. We know their scholars backwards. We quote their scholars all the time because we've read those scholars up and down. And now I haven't heard for years a Muslim say, have you consulted a scholar? When's the last time anyone heard a Muslim say that? Because they know we will flatten them. We will floor them because we know the scholars so well. Some of the old polemics they used 5 years ago, they don't say a single word of that anymore. Those arguments are dead. They're gone.
I confess, they're not scholars, man. They're a bunch of dumbers. That's what I believe. I know much better than any Muslim scholar, and I'm nothing really. I'm not just a guy who's spending the time and energy to dig into that trash. All right.
Yeah. So they said, we swear by Allah, you are surely in your old error.
Getting old, lost up here, lost his mind. Okay.
And a miracle then took place when the shirt was cast on Jacob's face, as written in verse 96. So when the bearer of good news came, he cast it on his face, so he regained his sight. And he said, did I not say to you that surely I knew from Allah what you do not know? And the knowledge was that Jacob would be gathered with his son Joseph. And Allah would allow Jacob to see Joseph again, and Jacob would see in Joseph what would please him. So now we have the Technicolor coat, the Joseph's Technicolor coat. Great, but it's so the brothers of Joseph asked Jacob to ask forgiveness from Allah for them for their sins, and Jacob promised to do so. In verse 97, they said, "O our father, ask forgiveness for our sins. Surely we were sinners." And he said, "I will ask my Lord to forgive you. Surely he is the forgiving, the merciful." Ibn Kathir said that some Muslim scholars, such as Ibn Jarir, said that they asked for Jacob to seek their forgiveness from Allah. Allah was not around at that time. There was no Allah. Arabic was not around. The Quran was not around. What evidence is there? They were praying to Allah. They were praying to Osiris. They were praying to anything but Allah. How can anyone believe this?
But see, because you believe in the Jacob of the Bible, the Jacob of the Quran is a Muslim. He believes in Allah, he believes in Muhammad, and so is Abraham. Believe in Allah, believe in Muhammad. So is everybody else, man.
There was no Allah. There was no Allah. There was at that time the gods that there was Ra, the sun god, and there was in fact the Pharaoh himself was considered a god, and they prayed to the Pharaoh as a god.
He is our God. We worship the Pharaoh for all.
And they had a bunch of different gods. So where the heck is this Allah coming from? I mean, this is historically retarded. I mean, this is a joke on the face of it. Academically, this is laughably stupid. This is fiction.
You see, you think it is a level, but it's the truth to the Muslims.
This is just so.
Let's
Muslim
get to the
scholars,
Bible. You know what? Calm down. Listen, let's read the next program. That will cheer you up. Look at this.
Muslim scholars disagree on this information. No surprise. Disregarding the important facts about almost every story. So here we see disagreement about when Jacob asked forgiveness. What about the Bible's true account? Is there any truth to the story in the Quran, which originates in the Bible? Let's examine the scripture. The Bible does not mention any magic shirt or the smell of Joseph in the wind. You know what? Yeah, the stuff I smell in the wind is usually not that of shirt. Although I have smelled something that sounds very similar. You know, it's like when when there's wind, you smell the smell of, but shirt, but without the R.
You're terrible. Lloyd, you're terrible.
I didn't write this.
I forgive you. Go ahead. Move on.
What are you smelling in the wind? Oh my God. What did the
8
wind?
days traveling with wind, man. Do you think the smell was so strong that all the people between Egypt and the land of Canaan, they were like, they could not open their eyes? The smell was so strong.
I have no idea. I don't want to speculate. But this is a very serious channel. We discuss things with serious academic rigor here. There are no jokes here. There is no. We don't laugh at things. This is serious. I only work with serious authors, like the famous apologist and author Usama Dakdok, who's written several books. I mean, come on. I work with a serious apologist who goes on television, goes on radio. These are serious people. You know,
I concur.
So I don't know, but I mean, I would, these things got to be taken seriously, and this channel deals in serious scientific rigor. So I'd like to summarize what really happened in the true account. Genesis 45:17-28 in a few words. Pharaoh found out about Joseph's family. He asked Joseph to ask his brothers to go and bring the household. Joseph gave them wagons to carry the children and women, along with Jacob, to Egypt according to Pharaoh's orders. Joseph gave them many gifts. Then Joseph's brothers left Egypt and went to Canaan. Upon arriving back in Canaan, oddly enough, just as another point, you keep hearing people talking about Palestine on the map. If you go to old maps, you'll see the whole area of Israel is called Canaan because it was Canaan. They took over Canaan. So everyone seems to forget that it was actually Canaan, But anyway, so the whole Palestine thing was actually west. But anyway, Joseph's brothers told Jacob that Joseph was alive and was the ruler over the land of Egypt. But Jacob did not believe them. However, when he saw the Egyptian wagons, which Joseph had sent to carry him...
Oh, he saw the Egyptian wagons? You mean he was not blind?
I was about to ask the very same question. But the smell had given him temporary eyesight.
Maybe the smell make him blind.
And shocked him away.
It was so strong, he could not open his eyes anymore. He got swell and closed. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so the wind that passed by whoever passed it was enough to wake the old one up for a little while there. And not only did he believe, but his spirit revived. Yeah, I'll bet. Did Jacob see the wagons? Yes, indeed. Genesis 46. God spoke to Jacob through a vision in the night. Then God spoke to Israel in the visions of the night and said, Jacob, Jacob. And he said, here I am. So he said, I am God, the God of your father. Do not fear to go down to Egypt, for I will make of you a great nation there. And I will go down with you to Egypt, and I will also surely bring you up again. And Joseph will put his hand on your eyes. So God said to Jacob that Joseph will put his hands on his eyes, not on his blind eyes.
No.
So Catherine says, recently Palestinians say Canaan and asked about the real estate of Israel. Because one question again, I know we keep swapping topics here, but I guess it's the nature of the discussion. But, there are certain markers which define a state. So if you go back in history, there were certain markers that defined a state. I mean, an obvious marker of a state are borders. You will have a currency. You'll have coins. You will have a holy book. You'll have a religion. You will have diplomatic relations recorded.
Mm-hmm.
So ask yourself. So ask any Muslim and they're going to lie to you, or they're going to have to just, in fact, they'll just usually 99% of the time just completely avoid the topic. What were the first rulers of Egypt? Name the first kings of Egypt. Oh, sorry, of Palestine. This Palestine that supposedly
I got lots of them if you want to hear it. Yeah.
Give me the names of the kings of Palestine so we can verify this. What currency did they have? Right? Show me some examples of these coins that exist. Right? What was their borders? What was their primary trading good? Where do they have diplomatic relations, and what records exist of those?
Lloyd, let me be clear. Are you talking about the Arab Muslim Palestinians, or the Greek Palestinians who used to live in the south part of the land of Israel?
Well, Muslims claim that the Palestinians are an ancient nation and state going back thousands of years, that the Jews came and pushed them out, but this was actually Palestinian land because there was a Palestinian nation.
Brother, we know for sure there were obviously some Greek Palestinians who lived in the south at the border between Egypt and Israel, which is the land of Canaan at the time. And we know that Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babel, is the one who came and wiped them out to fulfill the prophecies which were written by Jeremiah, Ezekiel, and Amos, as it is written in the Bible. And that took place 604 BC. And we talking about the Muslim Arab who lived there. There's no existence for them.
Yeah, they can only, as Eva says, King Arafat the First. That's about the only one they can mention. Eva wins the internet today. So yeah.
Even King after Arafat given the chance to be ruler over these people, he waited 10 years. He doesn't want to go there. For 10 years. He was in Egypt or in Jordan. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah. Ave Maria says that's why God killed Pharaoh's son, because he claimed his son was a god. Every plague went against the blasphemy. Ra was the sun god, so darkness fell upon the land. Very interesting. Interesting.
By the way, I talked about that in depth in my Exposing the Truth About the Quran, the 10 plagues, and how they are actually to hit the Egyptian with 10 gods. Very neat.
Yeah. Yeah. So faithful to Yeshua says they say Paul corrupted the Injil. I mean, granted, but then ask them to give you a copy of the Injil. Because the Injil was given to Jesus, right? The holy librarian from heaven came down and said to Jesus, "Where's your library card?" And he gave the library card and he said, "Here's your book." And then Jesus took the book and now it's missing. So where's a copy of the book? Where's a record of this book? Where's any records about this book? They've got zero info. So... yeah. Another proof that Israel did not lose his sight is written in Genesis 46:29. Joseph met with his father in the land of Goshen. So Joseph made ready his chariot, went up to Goshen to meet his father Israel, and he presented himself and fell on his neck and wept. And Israel said to Joseph, "Now let me die, since I've seen your face, because you are still alive." So I have seen thy face, yet he had his eyesight. And he was able to see.
I think so, yeah. Not I touch your face by my hand, not I smell you with my nose, no, I seen by my eyes, of course.
Yep. More details are given in Genesis 47. Jacob's age was 130 years when he came to Egypt. But he lived in Egypt an additional 17 years before he died at the age of 147. And Genesis 48 reveals that Jacob saw the sons of Joseph and he asked who they were. And Jacob's eyes were dim from age. On the other hand, Israel was thankful to God for he was able to not only see Joseph, but also Joseph's descendants during his lifetime. So Muhammad's fabrication or fairy tales or...
a magic shirt and the smell and the eyes to be open. Wow, this all made up.
Yeah, no, so the Injil is preserved on uncreated tablets in heaven. Yes, I think that we've just solved the riddle. Prove her wrong. Prove her wrong. So the third and final trip. So I've got 15 minutes and I got to roughly, hold on, so 30, roughly 25 after latest I have to finish. So the third and final trip from Canaan to Egypt. Muhammad could not describe the number and names of the children of Israel who came to Egypt, but these can be found in Genesis 46. I mean, how do Muslims explain any of this? This is so retarded.
Brother, all it takes is one of our programs you and I did, one of them about Joseph. And if there is a sincere Muslim a man or woman who has a little logic, not too much logic, a little logic or common sense, and they watch one of our podcasts, 1 hour is plenty enough for them, if they're sincere and they have some wisdom, to say goodbye to Allah and Muhammad and the Quran and Islam and everything. You don't need all that, but we'll do it for the fun of doing it.
Yeah. So Muhammad could not describe these people and how many there were and so on, but in Genesis 46. So the Quran does not mention how many there are, but Muslim scholars, of course, disagree. Surprise. Ibn Kathir gives us many choices for the number of people in Jacob's family. You can choose from the following numbers: 63, 83, 390. Ibn Kathir mentioned that when the Hebrews left Egypt with Moses, there were more than 600,000 fighters.
And that's a biblical right, by the way. That's the right number. 600,000 men who are 20 and older, those who can fight. But where did he come up with this number? I challenge you, show me 360 in the Quran. And 600,000 in the Quran. It's not there. He's copying from the Bible. Ibn Kathir was a smart man for digging in the scripture and found some information to add to his writing, which make him a scholar. But I'm sorry, Muslim never asked a question. How did Ibn Kathir know that specific number?
So they were picking and choosing, or they had only sections of the Bible, or someone who knew portions of it. I mean, it would seem they didn't have... Islam can only provide vague answers or silence the question of choose your pick. Yeah, take your pick. Either
the one
vague,
in the middle, the one on the right. Those who believed in him. Which one? How many? We don't know.
I mean, you know what? I'm going to go to Egypt one day, and I'm going to go through the door into the country. And as soon as someone can show me the door, I need to find out where the door is so I can go. And then
I promise you, Egypt never have a door. Not doors, not one door.
You weren't alive at the time.
Well, I know the history of my country too.
I can assure you that Pharaoh worshipped Allah, and I read that in the Quran.
It's written actually in Moses' days. I believe there is no God except you, whom the children of Israel worship. That is the words of Pharaoh, which, by the way, Allah did not hear because angel Gibberish put mud in his mouth. So as he said it, everybody heard it. You and I know it, but Allah did not hear it. MashaAllah. Wait until we get to Moses, man. When you get to Moses, it's going to be sweet. Sweet study.
Mud is not sweet. I don't know. I've probably tasted mud at least once in my life, and I don't recall like wanting the sweet taste of further mud.
Well, a figure of speech.
A figure of speech. Okay, fine. I don't want to eat figures of speech.
We're a serious channel here. We don't use figure of speech.
We're a serious, exactly. We only deal in facts, logic,
very
evidence.
factual people speak only the truth.
Yeah, this audience demands it.
Yeah, I concur.
And I deal with serious authors. I deal with serious apologetics, serious apologists, people who go on radio, television, people who...
Me too.
The sincere people that people with degrees, So yeah, you can't come and make jokes and laugh.
The next session here, man, will make it very serious. Go ahead, read, brother. Read.
Like every session. And when they entered to Joseph, he lodged these parents with him and said, "Enter Egypt, if Allah is willing, in security." And he raised these parents to the throne, and they fell down worshiping him. And he said, "Oh, my father, this is the interpretation of my previous dream. Indeed, my Lord has now made it true. And he has indeed been good to me since he took me out of the prison and brought you from the Bedouin." What?
From a Bedouin. His father was a Bedouin now. His father was an Arab Muslim man. Jacob was a Bedouin Arab man. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. See, you're learning new information every day.
I can feel my brain fracturing. And after Satan had stirred up strife between me and my brothers, surely my Lord is kind to whom he wills. Surely he is the knowing, the wise.
Read, brother. This is very important. I read. Don't skip it.
When I read the story of Joseph in the Quran for the first time, I was 12 years old, and I said to myself, what did Joseph do? He lodged these parents as was written in verse 99, and I said, perhaps I misunderstood the reading of the word. Then verse 100, he raised these parents to the throne. So, who would not welcome his mom and dad to his country, especially after seeing them, not seeing them after many years? And he would not raise his mom and dad to the throne, for that is the most honorable thing he should do for his parents. But if we simply read Genesis, here's the summary. So the Quran is trying to obviously be more reverent than the Bible. No, he did this.
Sure.
We love Jesus. We love Jesus. You Christians, you guys killed him. You guys want him dead. We love him. We raised him up, literally.
Amen. MashaAllah.
So the error of these two verses are exposed in Genesis 35, 16 to 20. When they were traveling, Jacob and his family from Bethel and were only a little way from Ephrath, Rachel, Joseph's mother, had a difficult labor during childbirth. As she was dying, she named the son Ben-Oni, but Jacob called him Benjamin. Rachel died and was buried on the way to Ephrath or Bethlehem, and Jacob placed a pillar on her grave. The problem here is simple. Muhammad, whoever helped him write the story, did not read Genesis 35. For the story of Joseph began in Genesis 37. If Muhammad, whoever helped him to write the Quran, had read Genesis 35, they would never have made such an error, because Rachel, the mother of Joseph and Benjamin, had died a long time before Jacob arrived in Egypt. So therefore, his parents could not have visited him. Now that is, that's some first-class errors there. So according to Ibn Kathir, Muslim scholars said that the numbers of years Jacob and Joseph had been apart was 18. Some said 83. Could have been 97 and a half. Maybe it was 1,000 years. Who knows?
Allah knows best.
Others said 55. Another said 80.
It's all make-up numbers, man. It's all made-up numbers.
If you read, Muhammad's wife, Khadija, if you actually read Ibn Kathir and all these other scholars, they'll tell you, no, she was 27. No, she was 25. No, she was 40. No, she was 45. You're like, huh? Like, they can't even decide what age she was.
Well, I think she knows what she said when she said Muhammad died when I was 18. He married me when I was 6, have sex with me when I was 9, and he died when I was 18. And she wrote that when she's older than 18, which means she's not that stupid woman to make such a mistake. Okay, go ahead.
Here's something I'd like for the audience. Use this as a polemic and tell me how effective it is. Jeffrey Epstein is accused of being a PDF file for handling little girls as young as 13 and 11. So he's regarded as one of the most egregious PDF files out there. Muhammad, the prophet of Islam, did the very same with a girl who was even younger than those of Epstein's victims.
And nobody would say a word against Muhammad. Nobody.
So just ask people, just let people say, you just tell people, hey, look, you've got the prophet of Islam, the founder of the religion, who had certain relations with a young girl younger than Epstein's victims. Epstein is considered a major PDF something for this act. How is Muhammad exempt? Just find your own way of just asking the question. Just say,
or let me give you another worse one than that. Why we allow the Afghani Muslim who came to America under Biden to be involved with little children, wives, and we put the American in prison if they got involved with a young lady, she's 17 or 16. But they have their wives who are 10, 11, 12, and they're okay. And we pay for their host. We host them in our homes, and we give them the food and the money and the medicine and everything they want. I'm talking about hundreds and hundreds of cases of Afghani Muslim men who are doing it right now in America.
Yeah, scary stuff. Now,
Go ahead.
This is going to end badly. So Ibn Kathir mocked the people of the book and claimed that it was 40 years, but the Bible never mentions that. Ibn Kathir maintained that the scholars of the Torah were wrong because the Quran cannot be wrong. He also said that some Muslim scholars said that Allah had raised Rachel back to life.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. MashaAllah. Yes, she died and she was buried, but she came back to life to come to Egypt. Yeah,
Maria is a woman who believes in the Second Amendment, and if she could just shoot me now, and just end my misery, Please make it stop.
Please don't cry, Lloyd. Don't cry. You're okay, man. It's all gonna end. It's all gonna end. Just be peaceful about it. Go ahead. I still have a few more minutes, man. Don't miss.
This is so bad. She was raised back to life. In the Quran version of the story, though, that's in the Disney version, but in the Pixar version, it's different. And in the DC EU, they bring the hero back to life, but in the Marvel universe, he doesn't come back. It's like a different timeline. It's a different timeline. So it's like a timeline. It's multiverse.
Do you know that Isa raised one of the sons of Noah from dead, as he described to them from sin? He was holding some sand in his hand, and he raised him back to life, and he became alive. And he told the disciples of Isa about what happened in the Noah's Ark and all this stuff, because he was there. And then he brought him back to dust. So if Isa can raise Noah's son to life, I mean, it's easy for Rachel to come back to life.
Okay.
I mean, it was 2 years.
Yeah, we've got to finish a page and a half. So actually, no, it's 2 pages. We won't finish, but let's just go as far as we can.
Yes.
So yeah. Okay, fine. So Isa, this Isa is not Jesus. You know what? Please just tell Muslims, Isa is not Jesus. Just say that. Isa is not Jesus. The Muslim
Amen.
Isa is not Jesus. Period. And then other Muslim scholars said that it was not his mother who was raised from the dead, but his aunt, Mary, Katie, Leah, whatever, Leah. Yeah, it was someone else that was accidentally raised. They meant to raise the budgie, but they raised the dog, and then the dog bit his ankle. And he wished he'd raised the budgie, because the budgie would not have bitten his ankle. The budgie would have eaten birdseed from his hand. And then they had to stitch up his ankle, and then he had to get tetanus shot. And it was really bad.
Oh, man. Sorry, give me a headache.
Sorry. I'm sorry, but what? And they said that the status of
now here's the question: how did they know that he have an aunt by the name Layla or Leah?
Because they'd watched Star Wars and they liked the character of Princess Leia.
Because in the Quran there's only one mother. There's not 4 wives, but that's okay.
So they liked Princess Leia. So back in the 70s, 80s, they decided to add Leia into the Quran.
Amen. MashaAllah. MashaAllah.
So when Ibn Kathir was written in 1987, they just kind of put that in there. Hey, we like this character. Cool character. Then they said that the status of the aunt was equal to the status of the mother.
Oh, sure, your aunt is like your mother. It makes no difference. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And here we have to reread the Quran. Please, let's not reread that thing again. So did the Quran say Joseph's parents or his father and his aunt?
Well, maybe you misread it. You did not really meant what Allah did not really meant. Allah meant his aunt, man. Allah meant.
Janice is losing brain cells by the minute. Yeah, and Catherine says, yeah, agreed. Correct them every time. Isa is not Jesus. Jesus is not Isa. They're not the same people. So, I mean, why does the Quran push Gnostic myths from the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th centuries as divine revelation, as Allah's revelation? It's
Muhammad did not know the difference between this information he's hearing here and there. He thinks they're all right. And that is
so guys, I'll finish in the next couple of minutes, because I have to go somewhere. So the important thing is, as Ibn Kathir said, that Ibn Jarir said that the Quran is very clear that his mother was alive on. So now they're going to make up garbage because the Quran makes a mistake and says his mother was alive, and now they got to redact, change the whole history. There is no need to read from the Bible, and this is a very strong belief, and Allah knows best.
So there is no reason to read the Bible. Forget about the Bible, because Allah knows best. And Allah knows best. You know that every time Muslim scholars say Allah knows best, they never gave us any information from Allah. I mean, that Allah must be retarded. That Allah must be super stupid. He knows best, but he never tell us anything he knows.
Oh my God, this is a stupid book. You know what? It is. This is genuinely a stupid book. It makes a mistake, and now they say don't read the Bible because the woman is alive because the Quran says so, and that's it. Don't think. Check your brain in at the door.
Here's the question: why did Ibn Kathir read the Bible to find out that it's wrong?
I mean, this is just
dumb for dumbers.
Okay, let's finish this page, and let's see if we can finish this page.
Yeah.
So another interpretation is found in the following sentence. The Quran says that Joseph raised his parents to the throne. Ibn Kathir stated that Joseph meant that he raised his parents with him he raised them to life. Who knows? He raised them with him on his bed. The 3 of them lay on his bed.
Yep, because the word throne is written is a foreign word in the Quran.
And it means
And
bed, yeah.
Muhammad meant by it bed, not a chair like a king chair.
And the Quran is very clear. And Ibn Kathir said that they, his father and mother and little brother, worshipped Joseph. They worshipped him to give him
They
honor and
prostrated
respect.
before him. They did not worship him. In Islam, they say this because he does not even know that the worship yasjud or sajadu, it's actually a non-Arabic word. It's a Hebrew word which means to worship. But Muhammad said, "Oh, bow down, prostrate before him." See, there's so many problems.
Wow. So this was accepted. Of course, I mean, Catherine says, yeah, you can't read it with any critical thinking. I mean, yeah, it's just Muhammad forgot to mention in Quran 12:58, 69, 76, when Joseph took the cup out of Benjamin's bag, that when Joseph's brothers met with him, they fell prostrate before him. However, when we read the biblical account in Genesis 42 and 43, we see that they fell prostrate before him, which fulfilled the dream that Joseph had as a young man in the land of Canaan. Much important information about the life of Joseph is missing from the Quran. On the other hand, a lot, way too much fabrication has been added into the Quran. This is shocking. Wow, this is so bad. So for the sake of time and space, we recommend that Muslims and others read the story of Joseph as written in Genesis and compare it to what is written in Quran 12. I think we can end here. Yeah. But that'll be a good idea to maybe end there. But good grief.
That's okay. But my advice in the end of our broadcast for today, if there is any Muslim listening to us or watching this broadcast, take that advice seriously. Just get your Quran out, Quran chapter 12, and read it. It will take you a good half hour to read that chapter. Take your time now. I don't want you to read the Quran like a newspaper. Read it and ask questions. And you'll find there's no answers. Now go back. What we're reading here is Ibn Kathir fabrication to that which is written in the Quran. The Quran does not have any of that. It's all made up by Ibn Kathir. But when you read the Quran itself, it's very dry. It's dry cut so badly, your head will be spinning. After you finish reading the Quran, go to Genesis account and read from chapter 35 to the end. It would take you another hour and a half or 2 hours. And you will be shocked to your bones, the difference between that which is written in the Holy Quran to that which is written in Genesis account. You will discover for yourself that you no longer need to go back to the Quran. But my advice to you is read the whole Quran. Stop being stupid Muslim, believing in something you don't even know what it is. Get to know the Quran, get to know Muhammad, and if after you study the Quran and you learn about the life of Muhammad and you find to be great prophet, the holy book, mashallah, praise Allah. Be a Muslim for real. Otherwise, leave Islam and cut the chain. Cut the chain of you and your families, and your children will be set free. Do yourself a favor. Do your future children a favor, your grandchildren. I mean, what man should do I love my son. I cannot wait to have grandchildren. I will do everything I can to make them better than I. And the best thing you can do for your children and your grandchildren is cut yourself from the chain of slavery to Allah and Muhammad to Islam. Set yourself free.
Yeah, I mean, this is wow. I mean, this is so clearly just made up as they went. It's crazy.
It's made up stupidly. I can make up stories. I have made up stories all my life. I make up stories, I tell my friends, and they like it and they believe it. Now, when you read the Quran, you cannot like it. You cannot believe it. What do you believe? Nonsense?
Yeah, what kind of defective thinking does this create? If you can accept this kind of thing. I'm sorry, but I'm not saying I don't drag my knuckles on the ground when I walk, but I think I'm too well educated to buy this. I mean, this is clearly just erroneous. It is clearly the dumbest story ever written.
This is the best of the Quran. What you're mocking right now, what you could not believe, that is the best. And I'm not kidding you. Truthfully, this is the best of the Quran.
Yeah.
At least you have some body of information. You go to other stories, you don't even know who you're talking to, who you're talking about.
Yeah, no, this is crazy stuff. This is really crazy talk. Yeah, so I have to go somewhere. Unfortunately, I need to.
Well, if you're gonna go, I'm gonna go too. I'm not gonna sit here by myself. Do you want to go now?
Okay.
Can I leave now too?
You gotta stay. You're contracted. You have to leave here at 8:30.
No, sir. If you're leaving, I'm leaving. That'll be the end of it. I'm sorry. I don't have time. I'm busy.
Okay, guys, this one's beyond my pay grade because you know I am.
Listen. Take 6 Tylenol with 2 cups of camel urine. You'll be
I
okay.
have been reading the Quran. I can no longer think. I have the dumb. So
The dum.
okay, guys, this has been another very serious academic level discussion. Bye.
Anything but academic. Goodbye.
We hope you guys learned something. We hope this was fun. We hope it was educational. Thank you all very much. I will see you guys on Thursday with Karan, and Usama and I will be back soon. We'll be back talking about, we'll pick a topic, I'm sure. Maybe the Quran, or maybe just to change pace because my brain needs to recover.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Brother. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry.
Okay. Yeah, but good night, guys. God bless. Thanks all for joining us, and we will see you guys soon in the next one. Bye-bye.